My name is Kirsten Kaiser, and I will be reading my piece, The Memorial. The line went all the way out the door. Sweating tourists of all different nationalities were packed between the dividers that twisted monotonously back and forth like a coiled snake. The scene was reminiscent of the opening weekend of El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure Park, where the dragging wait for the roller coaster was broken up only by vendors serving $6 water bottles. The mood was almost identical. Eager children asking where they were going to go next, cranky parents checking their agendas, young couples holding hands without a care in the world, and street sellers desperately trying to catch naive tourists all milling about on the sweltering July day. Of course, my mother had prepaid for our tickets, as usual. She had planned ahead with the meticulous nature of someone who had lived in the tri-state area for over 40 years and would do anything to avoid waiting in long lines. As my technology-challenged boomer father attempted to help her find our tickets on her iPhone, I watched the small American flags flap in the cool breeze. There were thousands of them. Each one was carefully inserted into the engraved names upon the smooth bronze parapets, precisely spread out from one another. A worker eventually found his way over to my struggling parents. He was tall and lanky, with short-cropped brown hair and a kind smile. He could not have been over 25. With his guidance, we were able to walk past the eclectic crowd, hearing German, Chinese, Italian, English masked with thick accents, and numerous other languages. As we walked into the building, the mood shifted drastically, as though dampened by something heavy and wet. There was a profound soberness to the building, one that grew as we descended below the earth on the steep escalator. When we reached the bottom of the escalator, my dad stopped dead in his tracks. He was staring at a set of dilapidated granite stairs that ran adjacent to the escalator we had just taken. "I can't tell you how many times I took those stairs to get to a business meeting," he said in an offhand tone, directed to no one really at all. I read on the plaque that they were the survivor stairs. The stairs were the only remaining above-ground structure intact after the attacks and had served as an evacuation route for hundreds on that fateful day. It was the first of many horrors. There was a video of the North Tower collapsing, playing again and again in a mesmerizing loop. There were recordings of voicemails playing over the speakers, conveying victims' final words to their loved ones in their last moments. There were clips of men and women jumping from the towers to their deaths. There was a quote on the wall from one woman who said that she did not want the day to end because it was the last day that she would ever see her husband. There were voicemails of reassurance from the South Tower, that everything was perfectly fine since it was the North Tower that had only been hit. There were helmets of firemen who sacrificed their lives in order to save others. Potentially the worst of it all was in a room all on its own. The walls were over 60 feet high, plastered with thousands of smiling faces staring down at us. Every person was a victim of the attacks on September 11, 2001. The names were in alphabetical order. I wandered slowly through the alphabet, eventually pausing by the end names. I caught my breath. The woman staring down at me was the spitting image of my childhood friend. They could have been identical twins. My first memory of September 11th flooded my mind. I was playing with my best friend on the jungle gym at recess in 2003, feeling a bliss that only children know. The wind tore at my face with the cool autumn air as I ran around the playground at recess time without a care in the world. I stopped as I saw my best friend hunched over the ground just a few feet away from the monkey bars. She had created a sort of pile of wood chips and bits of grass. "Do you need help?" I asked her. Lindsay nodded and we took off around the playground. I ran straight to the large area of grass where the boys would always play tag and jackpot, and I began collecting dandelions and buttercups. Though my mom said they were weeds, they looked just like beautiful flowers to me. I raced back over to Lindsay's pile and we delicately arranged the flowers, as though the pile were an anthill fit for a queen. "What is it?" I asked my friend with sincere curiosity. "It's a grave for my mom," she said.